If you're like me and you're sort of a center right, center left person, you look at the left and you go, these people are absolutely insane. They're becoming more and more radical on a variety of fronts. On abortion, it used to be safe, legal, and rare, and now it's like, whenever a toddler, you don't want your toddler off with its head. Now I'm exaggerating a little bit, but you know what I mean. When it comes to economics, they're drifting towards socialism. They're drifting towards modern monetary theory. Even if they're not smart enough to know what modern monetary theory is, they are practicing it. They've bought into the ideology, which is kind of dispersed through the left wing. Equity essentially will eventually become something that's economic, and you start to redistribute wealth. When you look at them on the foreign policy front, what they did in Afghanistan, that's insane. The way they are responding to Russia invading Ukraine, I can give them some props there, but psychologically, I don't think they're putting any fear into the hearts of our enemies. And quite frankly, as complicated and sophisticated as geopolitics can be, when it comes down to it, a lot of it's psychological, and it's what you present to your foes, to your potential foes. You need to show them strength, and I don't get that from Kamala. I never got that from Biden, and as a matter of fact, it's kind of sickening to see how weak we look on the world stage. So that worries me, and it seems like a lot of left wingers are okay with that. Now, don't get me started on the right-wing isolationism. I think that's a problem too. But everywhere I look, and I take a closer look at the left, when I look at them regarding race relations, they want to raise racial consciousness. That's not a good idea. So now you have this reaction where you're starting to see, which anybody who has a brain predicted 10, 15 years ago, if you keep demonizing white people and you keep demonizing America, guess what happens? You get ethno-nationalist movement. The ethno part is a reaction to the demonization of white people. The nationalist part is a reaction to the demonization of America. So of course there's a rise in ethno-national. And if you go on X, you see more and more of that sort of ethno-nationalist mentality. You see a rise in anti-Semitism. So you see anti-Semitism on the left, which actually, when it comes to Israel, is just another variation of their hatred of white people and Europeans, because they view Israel as white European, almost like pilgrims. That's, they didn't land on Plymouth Rock landed on us. And they look at Israel like Israel landing on the Muslim world, a bunch of white people landing in the Muslim world. So everything is filtered through race. So I look at what they're doing on the left, and I think they're absolutely insane. I see what they've done to universities. I see what they do in these big corporations. I'm worried about them with their hands on AI. So everywhere I look on the left, I think danger, 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 and there are problems on the right, which if you follow me, I talk about on this channel. But the left is especially dangerous because they've ascended to positions of power. The long march through the institutions, they don't have to march anymore. They march, they're there. That's over. They're in the institutions. They are the institutions. So I worry about them because they hold so much power in media, in academia, in just bigger corporations. They're there. The woke progressives are there. And I'll tell you, in my experience on a university campus, sometimes I have a feeling that maybe it's going to die out a little bit, but I'll tell you something. A lot of the times I think you ain't seen nothing yet, because in my experience, this younger generation's even more radical, and the buzzwords that's thrown around all the time is degrowth. So watch out for that. It looks like degrowth is becoming kind of the word of the day. Maybe this will fizzle out, but so far it's been going about a year strong, and I hear it a lot on a university campus. So why am I talking about the dangers of the left? Because we all know there are dangers on the left. The reason I'm talking about this is because we finally, in my lifetime, it seems like the right wing, center right, we have the intellectual firepower. We have Ted Cruz. Whether you like these guys or not, they're not dumb. Ted Cruz, J.D. Vance, DeSantis. We have smart people. We have people who can debate. Nikki Haley's pretty good, right? We have people who can debate. And then you watch on a national stage, most people do not follow politics. They're oblivious to what's going on, okay? So they'll tune in for these big things. This is maybe your one chance to show the world that conservatives aren't these nasty, racist, bigoted, sort of know-nothings. But then we put Donald Trump up there. Now, here's the thing. It seems like if you're on the right and you're voting for Trump, which, listen, 2016, I sort of get it, the middle finger, all of that. But we had a great crop of candidates that would have mopped the floor with Kamala Harris. Could you imagine what J.D. Vance, I'm not a huge fan of J.D. Vance. I do like DeSantis. What DeSantis, J.D. Vance, Ted Cruz would have done to Kamala Harris on that debate stage, Marco Rubio, right? He's not the upper echelon of intellectuals, but he still would have handled her. We have very smart conservatives for the first time in my life who are eloquent, who can express their ideas, and who can characterize what their ideas are, who can explain their ideas, who can explain critical race theory, who can explain why wokeism is so evil, can explain exactly why their policies are so bad. So if you're on the center right or you're conservative or Republican, you agree that the country's in danger. But if you think the country's in danger, why would you then put Trump as the face of the movement when you know he's not very good at defending the movement? It's almost like you want to be entertained more than win. Okay, now your counter to that's going to be you truly believe Trump can win the election. I guess that's your one defense, and I've thought about that, and I think a lot of conservatives think that way, that Trump's our only chance to win. And I think that's kind of like being a prisoner of the past. Really, if you look at the talent we have on the sidelines, it's there. It's there to win and win in convincing fashion.